You know those moments in politics that they don't just happen, they sort of happen to you. The kind that just sear themselves into your memory, where the atmosphere, you can almost feel it crackles with this palpable tension.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm thinking about that one particular political debate, right? The one with Stephen Miller.
Ah, yes.
With that familiar arrogance, the smirks, the sneers, that impatient bark. Like someone completely convinced that just being louder could replace being truthful.
Absolutely. Volume over substance.
And he just kept going. Accounts from the floor, they detailed 6 times. He basically lunged across the sound of his own voice. His words just cutting through, trying to dominate.
6 times? Wow.
You could feel the audience's weariness, couldn't you?
Oh.
People sighing, shaking their heads.
Yeah.
Looking at each other like, when's he going to stop?
And right there, in the middle of all that noise, was Jasmine Crockett.
Exactly.
Still silent, eyes steady, hands folded. Just this picture of unshakable composure.
It was such a stark contrast, almost cinematic.
It really was. And that's what our deep dive today is all about. We want to go way beyond just that viral clip.
Right.
Our mission here is to unpack why. Why did this clash resonate so deeply? It touches on this struggle, of who actually gets to be heard in public life.
And the power of dignity, maybe, against all that noise.
Precisely. The surprising power of dignity.
Okay, so let's unpack this specific moment then. The cameras, they caught every visual detail, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Miller leaning forward, you could see the veins in his forehead stabbing his finger in the air.
Yeah.
It wasn't just verbal aggression, it felt physically dominant, like he was trying to push her out of the frame with his body language.
That's a good way to put it. It was about taking up space visually and orally.
Yet Crockett, she didn't flinch,
Yeah.
didn't frown, she didn't, scramble to claw her way back to the microphone. It was like she just let him burn through his own arrogance. Like watching someone run out of oxygen. She just held her ground without a word, letting all that frantic energy kind of dissipate.
And it's fascinating because, looking into the eyewitness accounts, this wasn't just a simple interruption. People described this tension building.
Right.
Almost like waiting for thunder after you see the lightning. You know something's coming.
That boom is inevitable.
Exactly. And what's really intriguing, our analysis suggests even Miller himself seemed to sense it. His interruption started sounding less like dominance and, maybe more like desperation.
Interesting.
This wasn't just another heated back and forth. Commentators pointed this out pretty quickly. It felt bigger.
Yeah.
It really spoke to that ongoing struggle in America about who gets the platform, who gets heard.
And who's constantly told, in one way or another, sit down, be quiet, disappear.
Exactly that. Implicitly or explicitly.
It's tempting, isn't it, just to label it as, a really rude interruption and move on.
It is. But the sources we looked at highlight something much deeper going on.
Okay.
Beyond just the surface disrespect, what did Miller's actions symbolize for people watching, especially given America's, broader social context?
That's really the crucial question, isn't it?
It is. For a lot of viewers, Miller's behavior carried this huge symbolic weight. It went way beyond rudeness.
How so?
Well, analyses from various cultural commentators suggest that for some, it really echoed that centuries-old reflex, silencing women, especially women of color, who dare to speak with authority.
That historical context.
Right. And for others, it had that chilling familiarity of power being used not to persuade, not to engage in dialogue, but just to dominate, to shut things down.
So it wasn't about the policy anymore.
Not at that moment. It felt like it was purely about asserting control, sending that message so many people have felt, your voice just doesn't matter as much as mine.
Wow.
And that wasn't just a sting for Crockett, right? It was familiar to anyone who's ever been told, wait your turn or calm down when they were making a valid point.
Building on that then, her non-reaction, it wasn't seen as weak. Sources say her silence was actually like a deliberate strategy. Can you maybe elaborate on that? How did that strategic patience actually work for her in that kind of pressure cooker?
Yeah, absolutely. Crockett's silence was, it was miles away from passive surrender. It was calculated.
Okay.
With every single arrogant interruption, she basically handed him the rope.
Yeah.
She let his own aggression take center stage.
It gave him the spotlight in a way.
Exactly. Let him reveal himself. So this wasn't really a battle of equals in the, traditional sense. It felt more like a collision. Noise versus composure. Arrogance versus dignity. Like a man desperately clinging to the platform versus a woman about to confidently claim the floor.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, the stakes felt huge.
They felt national, maybe even generational. Viewers weren't just watching one guy interrupt one woman. They were seeing a drama that America's been wrestling with for decades.
Who gets the mic? Who commands respect?
Right. And the national mood, according to several analyses we reviewed, was just tired. Tired of arrogance being passed off as strength.
Tired of bullying as leadership.
Yes. And tired of dignity being treated like some kind of weakness. Millions watching were just longing for a moment that would finally flip that script.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Because to really get why her composure landed so hard, our deep dive into the sources shows we need to look at Jasmine Crockett's background.
Absolutely crucial.
It's such a stark contrast to Miller's play.
Yeah.
What did the sources tell us about the journey that shaped her?
It is an essential contrast. Our research into her life really paints this picture of resilience, but resilience forged in really demanding circumstances.
Okay.
Where Miller's rise, as political biographies detail, often seemed paved with, strategic provocation, almost performative cruelty.
Right.
Crockett's was built differently, on service, and this relentless belief that dignity isn't just like a nice virtue, it's a weapon, it's a tool.
A tool. Interesting.
Accounts from her early life suggest she grew up in a world where respect wasn't just handed to you, you had to earn it, often twice over. For instance, there are reports about this really challenging pro bono case she handled early on as an attorney, representing a marginalized community group against a very powerful, well-funded developer.
Oh, wow. High stakes.
Huge stakes. And she faced not just a tough legal team, but significant public pressure, a system often biased against her clients. It was in battles like that where she honed that ability to stay composed, even facing overt hostility.
You can see the connection.
Clearly, that skill was right there on the debate stage. And her background as a Black woman often meant her voice was dismissed or doubted or diminished. Yet she kept pressing forward, sharpening her arguments in classrooms, community halls, courtrooms, each step demanding that quiet fortitude.
That's incredibly insightful. So that pre-political career as an attorney really shaped her, gave her a specific kind of grit.
A very specific kind.
And you mentioned Miller. The research hints at a different trajectory for him too, right? Can you expand on that contrast?
Certainly. As an attorney, Crockett was consistently defending those without power, people often ignored by the system. She faced down judges, prosecutors, bureaucracies that might prefer to overlook the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And each case demanded not just legal skill, but that kind of composure that just refuses to break under pressure.
And her entry into politics.
Grassroots grit. Not wealthy donors, not privilege. It was fueled by this deep belief that her community deserved a real voice.
Which raises the question.
Exactly. How did all those lifelong battles prepare her for that specific moment on stage?
Right.
Her whole journey, marked by financial struggles, racial bias, gendered double standards, it taught her to channel frustration into focus, not into volatile reactions.
So the silence.
That silence we talked about, not surrender. It was the silence of a woman who'd been there before, who understood timing is absolutely everything.
That Miller's path.
In stark contrast, yeah. Our research into his career highlights a trajectory often marked by a strategic embrace of controversy. Early political moves, according to profiles, often featured aggressive rhetoric, designed to provoke.
To dominate media cycles.
Exactly. Aiming for rapid ascent through confrontation rather than, say, patient advocacy. Very different paths.
Let's go back to the debate stage then. Just before the climax, you can almost feel Miller's desperation escalating in the reporting.
You really can.
His voice got sharper, right? His tone cracking under the weight of his own frantic energy.
Yes, that initial smug confidence, it was unraveling into something much more frantic. The interruptions, by then, they were like a broken record skipping. They didn't have that swagger of control anymore.
No, it was the edge of someone terrified of losing control.
Precisely. And the audience reactions were so telling. Gasps from corners of the room.
That woman rolling her eyes so hard the camera almost caught it.
Right. And journalists scribbling faster, sensing the story wasn't policy anymore. It was about this imploding spectacle.
So what was happening to Miller? And how was Crockett's stillness landing against that?
It's such a powerful image, isn't it? One person unraveling, the other completely unmovable.
Yeah.
And sources indicate this wasn't just a visual thing. It became symbolic for many people watching. Through all that chaos from Miller, Crockett remains still, composed, unshaken.
Didn't match his volume, didn't try to claw back time.
Nope. Her continued silence essentially became a mirror. It reflected every bit of Miller's desperation right back at him.
The contrast was stunning.
Utterly stunning. One figure visibly coming apart, the other utterly unmovable. She was letting him burn himself out, letting his arrogance stretch so thin the slightest touch would snap it.
And Miller just walked right into it.
Blind in his desperation, he walked right into the trap. His voice cracked, his face reddened, those finger jabs became erratic, lost their precision.
And the anticipation in the room.
Electric. Every second felt like a fuse burning down. Everyone knew something had to give.
It makes you wonder, though, what if she had matched his energy? What if she had shouted back?
That's a great question.
Would the impact have been the same? Or did the strategic silence hold a unique power?
I think the sources answer that pretty clearly. Shouting back might have just added to the noise. The silence created the space for what came next.
Right. The moment had been building like a storm. Each interruption like thunder. Each silence, that lightning waiting to strike. And then it came. The seventh interruption. Miller lunged in again, voice raised, desperate.
But this time,
Crockett didn't wait. She leaned forward just slightly, her tone calm but commanding. Her words so deliberate, each syllable sharp as glass.
and she delivered the line.
The iconic line that just cut through everything. Are you done? Because America is.
Oh, the reports from that moment are just astonishing.
Total shift.
For the first time all night, Miller froze. Mid-sentence, mouth half open, no sound.
The man of endless words. Speechless.
Exactly. And his silence in that instant was way louder than all 6 of his interruptions combined.
And the crowd.
The restraint just cracked. A wave of laughter, then applause, just rolled through the audience like a tidal wave.
It wasn't just a rebuttal, was it?
No, it felt like a verdict. It wasn't just her voice against his arrogance. It felt like America's collective exhaustion against his noise.
Wow.
In that single, precise line, she captured what millions watching felt. The interruptions, the bullying, the arrogance, it was just finished.
The power of brevity. Precision.
Absolute precision, allowing a simple question to carry the weight of an entire nation's feeling.
And while the room was erupting, the internet, well, it detonated.
Oh, completely.
Our sources detail how, within minutes, that clip went everywhere. Viral phenomenon, every platform.
Hashtags, GIFs, memes, TikTok challenges, the works.
What does that immediate, explosive digital reaction tell us about the audience's readiness for that kind of moment?
I think it tells us everything. The digital explosion was a mirror reflecting that collective feeling.
Yeah.
The spread was instant and universal, way beyond just political news junkies. Hashtags like hashtag 7th line, hashtag done with Miller, hashtag Crockett clapback trending immediately.
Like GIFs.
Twitter timelines flooded, side-by-side GIFs, Miller's frozen face, Crockett's calm, memes multiplied every second.
The boxing knockout one.
Saw that one. Someone did slow motion with dramatic music. Another put the blue screen of death error over Miller's face.
TikTok went wild too, right?
Oh yeah. Dance challenges, lip syncs, dramatic reenactments, Instagram reels looping her words. The moment arrogance lost.
So the virality wasn't just about a funny clip.
Not at all. It spoke to this profound public exhaustion with a certain style of politics. It resonated because it was relatable, a micro moment capturing a macro feeling.
Overnight, she wasn't just a congresswoman anymore. She became this cultural symbol.
The face of composure under fire.
And Miller became, well, an instant punchline. His arrogance, once his armor, suddenly became his downfall.
Yeah, the late night hosts had a field day, replaying it again and again.
I remember one joke, something like, Miller thought he was unstoppable until Crockett hit him with the CTRL Alt-Delete of politics.
Yes, that captures it. And the resonance was just universal. It didn't matter if you followed politics closely or not. Everyone felt that moment.
The digital amplification wasn't just sharing a clip. It was like a collective sigh of relief.
A communal validation of a widely felt frustration. Our research really concludes that in one line, she did what 6 interruptions tried desperately to prevent. She gave a voice back to America's yearning for something different, something better.
And that really is the core takeaway, isn't it?
I think so. Crockett didn't just win a point in a debate. She brilliantly leveraged this familiar public exhaustion. She reframed a personal confrontation into this potent referendum on leadership itself.
Yeah.
This deep dive really shows how that unwavering sense of self can disarm even the most aggressive power plays. Composure, strategic patience, they can absolutely outmaneuver chaos and arrogance.
Her line didn't need volume, didn't need rage.
It just needed precision, patience, and poise.
So what does this all mean for us then? Looking beyond that specific debate.
Well, Crockett's actions really reframed that interaction into something timeless, I think.
Yeah.
What played out wasn't just partisan sparring. It was this vivid demonstration that dignity, when you hold on to it firmly, it outlasts arrogance.
And composure, when used strategically, outshines chaos.
Always. And that truly is the profound lesson here. Truth doesn't always have to shout. Sometimes it just has to stand firm. That stunned silence after her words, that wasn't emptiness, it was clarity. A collective recognition that, yeah, arrogance burns itself out eventually.
But dignity endures.
Dignity endures. It resonates far longer. This deep dive reminds us that silence before a powerful statement isn't a void. It's often a forging of strength.
Yeah.
And it highlights how these moments, amplified by social media and culture, can distill really complex political frustrations into truths we all understand.
Which leaves a question for you listening.
Right. Beyond just personal resilience, how do we as a society collectively recognize and maybe reward dignity when faced with so much escalating noise?
Something to think about.
Definitely. We hope this deep dive into Crockett's really powerful moment gives you a new perspective, maybe on how to face the noise in the world, and perhaps where to find your own powerful silence.